Wolfpack win at 34-24 in Winston-Salem. Dave Doeren is now 7-6 in his career against the Demon Deacons. Michael Clark, Pack Pride, joining us on the Adam Gold Show. All right, sir. That was entertaining. They are the Wolfpack are box office. I still think I'm not sure we know what the fabric is yet. What did last night leave you with most?
Well, I know we were DMing back and forth. I didn't have the warm and fuzzies early in the game.
Right.
I think it's about the continued growth of C.J. Bailey. It's obviously his team. I think he is a superstar. I think he is a potential very high draft pick, possibly first round talent for sure. I mean, he's still 19 years old. Yep. I mean, my gosh, the strides he's made at his age are pretty incredible. And then you've got a bevy of skill guys, whether it's Hollywood Smothers and then the guys on the outside. The big story, I think, last night, is the continued improvement you're seeing in the offensive line. I don't think it's where it needs to be yet. And then on the other side of the ball, kind of a tale of two halves for the defense, just like it was against Virginia. I am concerned about the defense. I think you know the schedule well. The business is really going to pick up here in about 3 to 4 weeks. The back end is pretty brutal, and if you start off like that defensively, you're going to get run off the field. So they've got to figure out a way to make those adjustments and try to be a little more consistent there. But you've won 3 games that you had to win, and I think that is the most important thing, to be 3-0 at this point in the season.
Yeah, and they've won 3 games that they've had to win, and they've won 3 games that they could have lost. And maybe, I know Dave has talked about, Michael Clark from Pack Pride is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show, and Dave talked about it last night that he didn't like the togetherness or the lack thereof of last year's team, and he thinks this year's team is different. It looks evident, but then again, winning makes everything look better. But the way they played against East Carolina, couldn't run the ball, still managed to hold on and win. Maybe a little bit, maybe they get fortunate, but they won the game. Virginia, their defense showed up in the second half. There were still 2 good drives by the Cavaliers, and then a boneheaded throw by their quarterback, for the interception to end the game. But they shut down a Wake Forest offense that looked formidable in the first half. And I think if you look at the Wake had 2 first downs after they kicked that field goal to make it 24. And one of those was on a targeting penalty, which we could debate all day long. Thought it was the right call, but I don't think that's an egregious target. I thought they had to make that call, crown of the helmet. But that was one of the 2 first downs. It's an incredible performance, I thought, for their defense in the second half.
Yeah, I think DJ Elliott deserves a lot of credit. You made some good adjustments. Is it targeting? Absolutely. I'm not a fan of having to sit the next week.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel. I think that needs to really be a case-by-case deal, and it's unfortunate because I don't think he was intentionally in court, and I talked about this last night, of course, who I work with at Pack Pride. Neither one of us thought it was an egregious trying to hurt the guy. I mean, nope. I think people have to understand how fast things are moving. If you've ever been on the sideline at a college football game, especially at the Power 4 level, I mean, the speed is really incredible. The TV doesn't typically do it justice, especially when it comes to defensive playmaking. So a lot of nice adjustments. You're still trying to figure some stuff out. They've got a lot of young players in the secondary that are probably having to play a little bit more than you would like at this point. But, again, I think the only way that they're going to get better is just live reps. You can only do so much in practice. So, again, encouraged by the second half adjustments, now you just have to kind of put it all together and see if you can start fast defensively. And if they're able to do that, I think it takes a lot of pressure off C.J. Bailey in this offense because at the end of the day, you're going to have an advantage at quarterback or at least be even in probably every game you play. I think he's that good. I would say the same at running back. Now, can you put together some stops defensively early, continue to get your offensive line to develop, and then, you've got an NFL tight end, Justin Jolie, and hopefully some other, the receivers can kind of, have defined roles as the season goes on. I think that's going to be really important down the stretch. Who becomes that go-to guy on the outside of Justin Jolie?
Well, first of all, they haven't even, they're 3 games into the season. We haven't even seen Jolie unlocked. I know he's got a few touchdowns, but I think he caught 4 balls, none longer than 8 yards. So everything is operating very close to the line of scrimmage. There is definitely another level for Justin Jolie to get to. Michael Clark, Pack Pride, is joining us here on the Adam Gold Show. But I want to talk about the receivers. Hollywood Smothers, to me, and I think C.J. Bailey, I think they're both going to push for all ACC honors. I don't know about first team, but they're going to be in the mix for everything, I believe. And the fact that Bailey has another year is almost criminal. He's going to be on all sorts of lists if this season keeps going along this trajectory. But the receiving core for me, that's what really jumps out to me about the first 3 weeks of the season, because there's been a different guy every week. So week 1, it was Teddy Hoffman. Like, where does this guy come from? We haven't seen a ton of Teddy Hoffman since week 1. And what was it last week? It was like Grimes, Rogers. Have you seen a better 3-catch game than Keaton Jackson put out there last night?
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find one also like what Terrell Anderson did, also had 3 catches. Right. And the thing is, Adam, these guys are sophomores. I mean, including, I know Noah Rogers is a redshirt sophomore, but there's a lot of youth, and you getting such valuable reps as sophomores. And I think, by the end of the year, you're really going to see this be a plus for NC State, just the experience, making timely catches. And I think I've said this the past couple weeks, every week, just Bailey's ability to see the field. You've had 6 receivers with multiple catches in every game so far. Some people would like to see them lean heavy with Noah or Wesley or Wesley Grimes or whatever. But to me, that just speaks to C.J. Bailey being in complete command of the offense and not forcing things and, taking what the defense gives him and also understanding what he's seeing. Last year, the decision-making, and I think that is one of the things. You looking back, he was 18 years old, a year removed from high school, was not expected to have to play.
Right.
Well, he's thrust into the starting role. I think first start was at Clemson. I mean, good luck there. As an 18-year-old, but the growth he's made and just making good decisions and just, living to fight another down is so key for a young quarterback. But I think he really believes in all of his receivers, and I think you see that on a weekly basis because he doesn't necessarily zone in on one, and you're seeing a guy make a big catch here, big catch there. But I do think, the second half of the schedule is going to be pretty brutal. You're going to have to find that guy you like on third down, the guy on the outside to stretch the field. Some guys are going to have to see an uptick in targets, and I think we'll see probably over the next couple of weeks, maybe there will be some of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for me, that will be Jolie, but here's the beauty of spreading it around like they are and getting Hoffman and Jackson and Anderson along with Rogers and Grimes. I mean, teams don't have 5 quality wide receivers. Teams don't. College teams don't. State's got good receivers and the tight end. But when you're spreading it around now, when the schedule does ramp up, I actually think the schedule ramps up next Saturday, when they go to Duke is legit. I think Duke's legit. I don't know what they're going to do at Tulane tomorrow, but I think I've seen Duke enough. Their defense is really good. They're going to cause problems. But if they don't know where the ball's going, because you don't have those tendencies, it should open up the door for your best receivers, if that's Rogers and Grimes and Jolie, because there's so many guys who are capable of making plays. Can we agree on this, that Jackson made the catch that they still denied he made down the sideline on the pass interference?
Yeah, I definitely think he made the catch.
I couldn't, why? How do we watch that and not give the kid credit for the catch? Anyway, let me quickly ask you about just the feel around the team now, Michael Clark from Pack Pride, because 3-0, we still don't know how good the teams are that they played. Appreciate Dave taking a shot at Wake Forest preparation with their 2 games. That's fine. But these next 3, at Duke, Virginia Tech's a mess, but it's still Virginia Tech. Campbell. I mean, what is the mood? What is the anticipation of the next few weeks?
I would say, are you cautiously optimistic? Sounds about right, because I think the key for this team is just, if you're able to win, like you did this week, you've got to move on to the next game and turn your focus. I'm not saying you don't enjoy the win, but you've got to kind of reset. And there are a lot of young players in a lot of key spots. And you really have to lean on the leadership of the older guys here to say, all right, guys, we're 3-0, but we've got to move on. We've got a tough game at Duke. And really, every week, you don't know what you're going to get in college football.
Right.
So you kind of have to put your head down, go to work, tune out all the noise. And I think if this team can do that and continue to just improve gradually, that they can have a good season. I think they're off to a good start. There are some major concerns, especially on the defensive side of the ball, in my opinion.
Right.
But again, you can only play who's on your schedule. You can only beat who's on your schedule. And that to this point, they're 3-0. You've got to be excited about that. I do think this team offensively has a really high ceiling. I think it's played well, but I don't think it's anywhere close to where it can be. And again, I think by the end of the year, people are going to be talking about C.J. Bailey, not just in the ACC, but around the country.
I agree. We saw it last week. We saw it a little bit, not as much against East Carolina. I mean, we saw what we needed, but we saw it last week, and we definitely saw it last night. He is a dynamite player. Michael Clark, Pack Pride, 24/7 Sports at Michael Clark 247 on Twitter. Hey, thank you very much for the time, sir. I'll talk to you soon.
Always appreciate you having me. Have a good weekend.
You got it. Michael Clark here on the Adam Gold Show.